Hello, WoWHints here. I figured that I should start this up again since Cataclysm has brought unforeseen changes to the game. I am eager to share with you guys some crucial hints and tricks to help better yourselves. So, after a long break, I'm going to come back with some user-submitted questions. If you have any questions, feel free to send me them through YouTube Mail, and I would be glad to answer them. So, to start things off, Laxing Range asks, I just dinged level 85 on my hunter, and I'm wondering what is the fastest way to get gear for heroics. Thanks. Thank you so much for your question, Laxing Range. This is actually quite a great question because I just dinged level 85 on my hunter, and this would be a perfect opportunity to make this guide. I'll also go over some useful macros and a great spec for heroic dungeons. Beast Mastery hunters offer a wide variety of fun and high DPS. They're both viable for groups as well as doing quests. Right now I'm actually doing my dailies and as you can see I'm doing pretty well. I'll show you the macros that I'm using. They can actually be quite useful. The first macro that I use is a Hunter's Mark macro. It's actually a very basic cast sequence macro that not only casts Hunter's Mark, but it also starts auto shot. In addition, casts Serpent Sting and sends my pet into battle. It's actually very useful. The second macro that I use, and it's pretty fairly important, is my Misdirect Macro. It automatically targets my pet and casts Misdirect. This is actually very useful when soloing bosses or other things. I was actually able to solo Marigar in Ice Crown Citadel without having to worry about my pet dying or me gaining aggro because I have this macro. It complements the glyph of Misdirect, which resets the cooldown of Misdirect when used on your hunter pet. And lastly, the last macro that I use is a Bestial Wrath and Fervor macro. So basically what I use it for is, since Fervor gives you 50 focus, I usually use a few arcane shots to dump 50 focus and then use the cooldown. It works quite well. Now to address the gear. The easiest way to get gear is to just do normal dungeons. With the guild perk, normal dungeon bosses drop 33 justice points, and with the new patch 4.2, the World Shaman quest rewards an amazing cloak for just completing a very simple quest. If you have a hard time finding a piece of gear to replace, or just want to skip to heroics, you can always just cheat the heroic eye level requirement by purchasing a piece of gear from the auction house, and just keeping it in your inventory. I did this since my heirloom helmet is very hard to replace, and it has pretty decent stats on it. I purchased the PvP blue helmet to just bring up my eye level for heroics. And when I was done and found a replacement helmet, I just sold it back to the auction house.